Welcome to the Well Within radio podcast. I am your host, Shalina Litt. Okay, welcome back. Oh, I feel like myself now. I was lagging a little bit, but I've had a little bit. I've had a little bit of a breather. What have you done to me, Rachel?
I just came in like a gust of wind.
Welcome, Rachel, from Bridge to Tranquillity.
Thank you for having me.
This has been a long time coming, really.
Absolutely. I've been very
We
excited.
haven't had the chance to actually just chill, have we?
No, I actually put this on my story before I said it. I said I'm really excited because the amount of times we've been in the same building, we've been at the same events, we've crossed paths multiple times, but we've never been able to do this.
I know. And the reason I'm so excited about it is because one of your sessions that I had with you was such a transformative shift for me. And it was the first time I had that whole tunnel experience with chakras and, and I was just like, whoa. I was a little bit scared of it. Dang, she good. It was really good.
Thank you.
But before we get to that part, everyone has a beginning.
Yes.
Right? And everyone has a story.
Yes.
Let's rewind. Let's go back to your story. Where did it all start for you?
In terms of the spirituality, what I do, so I'm very, very blessed in the fact that my intuitive awareness, my gifts actually comes down through my family. So I was very aware from a very young age that things like spirits, probably on a very, what's a good way to say this? My family was like Catholic. My granddad was from Republic of Ireland. So we were raised in kind of like the traditional church way of spirits do exist and there are people that can get rid of them, like exorcist priests kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like laced in religion a little bit. So I was always aware of it, but nobody in my family did what I did. So nobody used it.
So wait, you was a Catholic?
Yeah.
Hold up. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Catholicism. I wasn't too strictly raised, so I won't make out like I was strictly raised. My mum was, and my granddad was, strong Irish Catholic. However, by the time I kind of got to the age where I could ask questions and things like that, I very much was I always am coined by my mum's sentence. My mum said to me from a very young age, she believes in God, she doesn't believe in the church. Ooh. Which was very powerful, but yet, we'd still go and do family baptisms, things like that. And interestingly, I got really drawn into the spiritual aspect of religion. So my mum will remind me of like the fact that I had like a Jesus altar, which isn't Catholic practice. Like you wouldn't, get a crucifix out and have your psalms and everything. In terms of Catholicism, we were never taught to make our own altars or anything like that. That was something that happened at church. But I had a real inkling around about 10 or 11 where I really all of a sudden was like, I'm into this. I like it. I'm praying. I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I got my communion, my confirmation, went to Catholic secondary school. So a lot of my teenage life, like I went on to, very privileged to say this as well, went on to pilgrimages, one to Lourdes, one to the Vatican, had Easter Sunday Mass with the Pope.
No way.
So I've had some really like beautiful, soulful experiences.
So you were very certain about your faith.
I think
you were solid.
Yeah, I think if I look back in time there, I was certain about something to do with God and I didn't have any other way to explore that other than church. I think because of the area that we moved to, we were kind of like more so in a kind of predominantly like white area when we'd moved to like Acots Green, South Birmingham. And then obviously Catholic secondary school. So I only really started to explore when I think it kind of immersed from out of me, which I think was, if I'm being honest, I was aware of my gifts at about 11. I'm 32 now.
11.
Yeah, I hated it as well.
Do you remember your first experience?
Yes, and it petrified me.
Oh God, is it too scary?
No, it's not too scary.
Are we going to get? Can we get the watered down version, please? I'd like to go to bed tonight.
Okay, the watered down version is that I was about 11. I was sleeping, and I've always slept with my doors open. I don't do this anymore, but I used to always. I was that little girl that wanted her door open because I was always afraid of the dark. And the way our house was it was a long hallway and you could look down to the bathroom. And I just remember it was about 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I don't even remember the time because I would have been so young, but it was early morning hours. And I woke up in the middle of the night, like stirred in my sleep. But when I stirred in my sleep, I remember I had one of those bunk beds that have like the desk and stuff underneath.
Yeah.
So I was up high. And I remember doing this and just looking slightly to my left and kind of my eyes opening. And I could just see this man walking down the hallway, and I never know how to say it other than it's not a person.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a man, he looks like a man, he's got clothes, but something in your body just goes nah.
Yeah.
And in true fashion, bear in mind I was very aware that ghosts, quote unquote, exist, all of that, because of my family. It's different when you see it. So it came into my room and I threw a pillow at it and it disappeared. And I screamed the house down. And my ever so skeptic big brother, who to this day is only not skeptic of me, says to me, still to this day, that was the day I knew that Mum weren't lying. And that was the day I knew it was real, because he said the terror and fear in your face, you couldn't have made that up. Like, you could not have been. And then I hated it. So for years I blocked it out. I was really scared. I convinced myself that every time I closed my eyes there were going to be ghosts. So I got really, really scared really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And bless my mum, she tried her best. She gave me all the advice, the tips, all the right things to do. But also I was still just 11 and convinced there's ghosts everywhere now.
Yeah.
Which wasn't what it is, but at the time it felt that way.
So that was quite a trauma for you then.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I gave myself what I call self-induced insomnia, because I would not go to sleep. If I felt myself dripping, I'd jump up. I used to watch those, which is really bad when I think about, them stupid roulette channels that used to come on at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like 13 watching the roulette because anything but sleep.
Yeah, TV was a little bit crazy them days.
You
didn't want to go too far up the scale, did you?
No, because then it could have been something completely different.
you know
Roulette
what
was
I mean?
where I stayed, Shalina. That was my line. So yeah, that was very, very traumatic. And I think I then also, in a very ignorant way, I didn't see the point. I didn't see the point. I didn't know enough about spirituality, energy, what I know now. In my mind, I was like, I see ghosts, what's the point?
Yeah.
Other than if they're going to turn up and give me like some wild message, it's not really useful.
Yeah.
And then I progress in my teenage life, and as we all do, I get my, lovely first love. And that ends up becoming a emotional and physically abusive relationship in quite what I deem to be, I was a baby. As an adult, you look back and you go, oh, I was a baby then.
Yeah.
And then this sends me on a trajectory, as I like to call it, and I'm going to laugh now because I can't help it. Miss Toxicity over here is what I call that age of myself, because 17 to 21, absolute self-destruct mode. Absolute, like, sex, drugs, rock and roll. Like, I will do anything to not be in my body. I will do anything to not admit my reality and not admit that this is what I've experienced.
As I say, feeling is healing. Right. And everyone avoids that stillness, because in that stillness lies the pain that we have to face.
And she did not want to hear it. Like, I look back on her and I give her so much grace and so much compassion, because bless her little sock, she didn't know what she was doing. But yeah, I was in self-destruct mode. And then, funnily enough, whilst I'm in self-destruct mode, my intuition heightens out of nowhere. And in quite blunt ways, I would say, I have the... I coined Tupac's quote and robbed it as such. I will always say, like, the spiritual life, I didn't choose it. It chose me. Self-employment, it chose me. My journey, like, I couldn't have planned it if I even tried. And I had no idea if I could get me, even me, 20, so 12 years ago, and go, this is what you're going to do and this is where you're going to be today. Talking about this, she would laugh in my face.
Yeah, because I'm not going to lie, right? I was watching your story, and then there was this one point when you was like, you said, I'm a witch. And I was just like, my heart dropped. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you, first of all. And secondly, can I say, I've actually got a lot of people around me that outrightly just say that they do that. I've heard a lady that says that she's a green witch.
Yeah.
A black. I've got a lady that says she's blatantly a black witch, and then a lady that's a white witch. I'm like, what? Like, so yeah. I mean, we're gonna get to that.
Yes.
But just for the viewers to know, this is where we're going. We're gonna go to there. Rachel, I got some questions for you, girl. You know what I mean? I'm a Muslim, like, got my holy water over here. Like, I'm only joking.
I need to know.
Okay, so the spirituality, the intuition came to you, 21,
starts intensifying. And what I think it does is, I always say this to people, whatever your religion, whatever your beliefs are, when you connect with something that's higher than you, it becomes almost like it's an expression of you already, but also it knows you better than anybody else knows you. And what I mean by that is, mine knew if it came and started coming for me, I ain't going to listen.
Yeah.
Because it had been trying that. And if I look back on that time, there was probably a good year where my mind was trying to look after me.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it. So what happens around about 2021 is it starts intensifying, but it's for other people. So I start getting messages for
so
other
they're like,
people.
well, we can't mess about with you, so now we're gonna help you connect with other people.
We're going to show you what the bigger picture of this is.
Wow, okay.
Which is what I felt like. I felt like it was she's not going to listen. She doesn't love nor care about herself enough at this moment in time to implement anything that we're going to tell her. She ain't going to sit down.
How did people receive that then? I mean, I guess it was a little bit of a bumpy ride. Like, I guess it's a case of you've got this gift and you want to share it, but not everybody wants to receive it, right? So how was that for you then?
It took different strides. The first thing was, if I'm being really raw, was imposter syndrome. Because I know, even now, if I'm being honest, hands in the air, there's probably somebody somewhere in Birmingham, if not 3 people, listening to this who know a toxic version of me.
Okay.
Who I probably did something wrong to, or I did dirty to. And when I first started, that scared me. Like, it really scared me. I felt like I didn't have... It's kind of like, I suppose if I go back to religion, it's kind of like your Mary Magdalene kind of thing. Like, I am not worthy to do this thing. I am, I've done horrible things to people. I've hurt people. I've made not the greatest decisions in life.
Wow.
So what allows me to be this channel for this divine thing, etc., etc.
I really feel that, honestly. I feel that when you're talking, because I think, for you to acknowledge that there are some people out there and they don't realise, they say hurt people.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And and I can relate, because when I reflect on who I was, when I was blinded by my own woes, and then I thought the world revolved around me, kind of thing, so I get that. But I love that you're out there, and you're open about it. So how did that shift start happening then? You started building the confidence, was it?
I think I started building the confidence, and then at the time, my best friend's mum, which I didn't actually know, my best friend's mum was a Reiki master.
Okay.
So what kind of happens is, and I always say I'm one of those cheesy, everything happens for a reason kind of people. I had a few intense experiences altogether. I'd been kind of called, funnily enough, to a church by my intuition, by my guides. I'd had a big kind of, I suppose, spiritual woo-woo moment with my past loved ones and things like that. And I'd kind of had this experience. And then my friend was coming to stay at my house. And we jumped on the train together, and I just remember I had this almighty urge to tell her, and I didn't know why. I was like, okay, you're gonna think I'm weird, but She responds, looks at me, smiles, and goes, I don't think you're weird, my mum's a Reiki master. And that was the trajectory of everything changing, because what happened then was my friend's mom allowed me to understand that it was a business, and also that I could help people. So I'd kind of had 2 sides of it. I'd had a personal experience where I'd ended up, what's the right way to word it? Not to make it sound like horror movie style, but I'd ended up having a few experiences consecutively where I'd needed to get rid of something dark to help people. And I remember I came home and I had this experience where something had touched me before I'd got rid of it, and it traumatized me. And I came home and I literally landed at the doorstep on my mum's house and I started crying. And I was like, you didn't tell me these things could touch me. You missed that bit out. Like,
Yeah.
I felt touched. Whoa. And in one of our most epic life-changing conversations, my mum, I remember it was summer, it was like June or July, and we went out into the garden. She popped a bottle of Prosecco and we sat in the garden, and she told me about like family history, things that she'd got rid of, things that my cousins were able to do. Not everybody in the family, because it's a bit of a weird gene like that. So that shift kind of comes at the same time where I say to my mum, like, if I've got this ability to get rid of something that some people can't even see, some people aren't even aware of, then how ignorant and how selfish of me to not share that gift. And my mum was very fundamental in the way that a bridge was going to be orchestrated. So around me being reasonably priced, there's people that do what I do, have done it for a lot less time and charge triple what I charge, which is fine, because everybody in their own ways, everybody for different people. But my mum was very fundamental in the beginning of like, you always remain accessible. You don't, you know, you're not outrageously priced for certain things. If people need you, you make things happen. She was part of the reason why the business got called A Bridge to Tranquillity, because she taught me when I was younger that you had to disconnect, and I used to do it by walking over a bridge. So she was like, you've got to have a bridge in it, like, this is you. So I'm having this kind of personal...
To disconnect, like, from a spiritual realm, you mean?
Yeah, like, almost like shut off. So she used to tell me, and don't get me wrong, years later, decades in now, I don't think you can actually shut off, because I never turn on. So if I was shutting something off, I'd have to turn it on. I think it's something that they do to humour me.
Okay.
To make me feel like I've got a bit of control
That you've got
in the
control.
situation.
Right,
so,
right.
Because I also know that if anything was to just happen, they're going to tell me. So I know that turn off and on is only subject to me.
Yeah. So for anyone that's listening, if this is triggering you, then please take some deep breaths. Maybe don't listen to the rest of the show. Some people can get really emotional about the content of the subject because they are religious, you know. And what you're talking about now can be really upsetting for people.
Absolutely.
You know, how did you go from being a Catholic? You know, what was the belief that kind of made it okay for you to step into the realm of saying, okay, this is it. I'm a witch and I have this ability and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this ability, this gift to help people, you know?
I think personally, one thing first and foremost, which will probably offend a lot of people, is I was never raised to feel like it had to be separate to my religion or my faith. So because my granddad was Irish Catholic, my mum was raised by two Catholic parents, I was taught things about my gift from a very young age. Like, I say this to my friends still to this day: if you hear me pray, run, because I'm scared. I'll only say an Our Father if I'm scared.
Yeah.
Like, these certain things that are embedded into me, because my mum used to say when I was little, oh, if you're scared before you go to bed, you say an Our Father.
So technically you still have a belief in God?
I have a belief in God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a belief in God. I don't believe in church or modern forms of religion. So I always say this to people because it probably surprises some people that wouldn't know me or haven't been privy to me in some way. Like, I've worked with people, I have clients of all different religions, because this is going to sound really harsh, I am not interested with telling you what to believe in and what not to believe in. I'm interested in helping to support you to have a deeper connection with yourself, which will annoy some people, which in turn is going to allow you to have a better relationship with whatever that higher power is to you.
I mean, as a psychotherapist, that's what I'm training to be now.
Oh, get it,
Yes.
girl.
Get it.
Yes.
Full of surprises, me.
We love it.
How do you distinguish between a spiritual entity tormenting somebody and a mental illness?
So,
It's a big question,
It's a very big question. I think, if I'm going to be honest, I've got probably like two answers. First things first, and this is going to probably shock some people: ego. And what I mean by that is, a lot of people who do what I do care about being right, and they don't care about the person. So I'm the type of person where I'm going to feel if something bad is ramping with you.
Okay.
I don't care if I've had clients that have stood in front of me, because also this is a bit of a psychology spin, so bear with this. I've had clients that have come to me hoping that they've got an entity, because otherwise they're having psychosis. So they'll come and they'll lay it on thick. This is what happened. This is this. I've had people in front of me with their eyes closed telling me that the entity is telling them that if I don't stop talking, it's going to dash something across the room. And by this point, I'm already like, there's nothing here. So tell it to dash it then. And then you'll hear you'll see the person stop and they'll go, well, no, he said he was tricking you. And I'm like, no, this isn't anything. And
wow.
usually, and even in certain circumstances, I've had that happen only twice in my 8 years. I will try my best to kind of say, look, listen, we can do things to soothe you and help you, but this is what's happening. One thing about me, this is probably going to sound, I'm very grounded in my spirituality. I like a lot of logic. I'm doing a psychology degree myself. I like to know how people think. Like, if you come and do trauma work with me, I'm going to talk to you about your nervous system. I'm not going to talk about things that are floating in the sky. So to me, it's a very big, like, number one for me, the way that my ability works is I'm like clairvoyant, so I can see. So if I tune into your energy, this is going to sound really grim, but if I tune into your energy and you've got something attached to you, your arms and your veins and everything are going to start looking dark to me. I'm going to see something on your back. It's going to look like something's on you. If you're sitting in front of me and I'm holding you and you feel fine, you're experiencing some form of, spiritual psychosis, etc., because it's a very common thing now as well, unfortunately, because nobody likes to talk about the fact that spirituality is also a way to bypass and escape. Nobody talks about that.
What do you mean bypass and escape?
Because what happens is people's lives, let's say for instance you're struggling or you're having not a great time, which is usually how we end up finding whatever that thing is, like you said, to heal you got to feel. So you end up starting to feel, and then what usually happens is in some way, form, like kind of, especially like the more new age version of spirituality that we see like online and stuff like that, is that people will start to meditate, start to practice all of the above. But because, what's a good way to say it, there's two sides of like your spirituality in that sense. So you've got the whole, which we all hear about, like, I'm going to meditate and I'm going to go journeying and I'm going to go far, kind of like what you said, my tunnel moment, like this really deep spiritual thing. And my little banter for it that I say is like people that love to travel the cosmos. So they want to travel to that star, they want to go and link up with these planets and this and that, but you like ain't done your washing up. And that's what I mean by that. So there's that side of spirituality in terms of like using meditation and energetic practices to visit your past, visit your inner child, really, really work on those things. Or you can kind of fall into the other side, which becomes I am a being over the 3D normal world, and my focus needs to be over here. I've had clients and I've known people that are working to break the generational curses that their mum put on them, and then because they've decided to prioritise their spiritual journey, they're now doing to their child what their mum did to them, but just in a different way. But they think they've got an excuse because they're a limitless, infinite being. But what I always say is we didn't come here to learn to be infinite beings. We knew that when we got here. We're learning how to be that whilst having a human experience.
Oh, girl. Let me just breathe for a minute. So, let's talk about parasites then. Because when I recently did my parasite cleanse,
Yes,
I thought this is about food. But in fact, I realized it was more about spirituality. Because I literally felt like I was closer to God. I felt like all of a sudden I became expansive. That's the only way I could describe it.
Yes.
My soul became expansive. I had birds and animals and babies. Like everything was just attracted to me, smiling, and just the love was abundant.
You were the good vibes.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, well, my frequency is clearly like on point right now, you know. So, I mean, do you think that that is the same when you look at these entities? Our parasites are totally different realm or conversation, or do you think that they align
I think they
somehow?
align in some way, shape, or form. I think there's always, for me, I'm very like holistic in my approach. So mind, body, soul. And obviously, my area of expertise is only to do with the soul. But what I do believe is something's happening on all three levels constantly when something is going on. So it wouldn't surprise me if somebody who had some form of attachment needed a parasite cleanse. It wouldn't surprise me if having a parasite cleanse or doing a parasite cleanse felt to have the same energy or impact as what potentially having something released from you could, because in theory, the way I would say it is, it's all energy. This is where I become a bit of a science geek now.
Okay.
Like quantum physics, everything is
Yeah.
vibration, sound and frequency. No matter what you believe in, that's the way the universe works. So I think in terms of some people, everybody's like, I don't know how to say it, like everybody's thing is different. Nobody's doing anything wrong, and I don't think they harm each other to cross over. So to me, when I think of the parasite thing, I definitely think of it on a physical level in terms of the body, but then from a place of the soul, I can understand how that would manifest energetically, if that
Because
makes sense.
parasites have consciousness. They're living
They're living things.
entities, and they're going to make you crave things that you really
Absolutely.
don't need. Okay, and one more thing. Oh my God, we're nearly near the end. Like, where is this time going from? I could talk for ages. There's still so much to cover. We mentioned very briefly, because in one of my my meditations, it was a bit weird. Like, I felt like I seen remember Street Fighter?
Yeah, yeah,
Do you
yeah.
remember that Indian guy that his arms used to stretch?
Yes,
I don't
yeah.
know what he used to say something as well.
did he
I
used
can't
to
remember
say?
what.
Oh, I can't
Wasn't
remember.
high, you could or something,
We
right?
did
Anyway.
hold the flex.
But anyway, so I remember seeing it was almost like I was going through time,
Yeah.
and then I seen him come in front of me, and then I seen this Egyptian like looking thing. And we were having this conversation, and we were saying, because obviously I'm Muslim, and I do not believe in reincarnation.
Yes.
And so what we were talking about was the fact that it could have actually been in your DNA.
Yeah.
It's what did we call it? It's a name for it.
Epigenetics.
Epigenetic. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Okay.
Like 1 minute.
So I'm not going to pretend I'm a pro about epigenetics in any way, shape or form. I actually learned about epigenetics when I did a mentorship program with Cherished, a girls' charity, and this was my first step into it, which is usually me. So it's actually a very like scientific kind of theory as such. So what epigenetics is the fact that we obviously, when we give birth, when we are pregnant, when all of that takes place, we are obviously combining DNA that is then going to be passed down to make this individual. And I literally, this is making me remember something. There's something going on at the moment with Apple and Microsoft, and they're testing DNA because one strand of DNA can hold like a ridiculous amount of memory. So what they're saying is that we at least, I believe, at least 7 generations that we carry down through us
Look at
in
that.
DNA.
And this is what I mean. And this, and with the breath work, I'll say we have to unpack mind, we have to unpack heart, we have
Yes.
to unpack, body. But then you start to go into generational trauma, right? It's just
There's a document
levels.
that I made years and years ago, and it's just like a little Canva that I made, and it was based on how. So obviously, I'm mixed race, so I'm mixed Jamaican, English and Irish. So I know obviously of the generational trauma that comes down. I also know that there's generational trauma on my Irish side because there was things like, the potato famine, that wasn't a famine. There was things like Irish slaves, etc. But then on top of that, what I did with this document was I started speaking about all the other versions of trauma, because that was a really common version of trauma. And it like, I'm mixed race, I'm going to have trauma from slavery, etc. But nobody speaks about, like the Asian communities, the Indian communities, in terms of like things that happen there, Pakistan, Bangladesh, all of that would have been passed down, let alone the culture on top of that and what happened before that.
Yeah.
And then when I think of, seven generations is a lot. That takes you back way. And even when I've dabbled in, like, my mum did loads of like research because we wanted to get our Irish passports because it meant that we weren't in the EU.
Okay.
She started dabbling, and we found so many things with just going back to like my granddad's dad. And I'm like, that's like, what, 2 generations?
Yeah.
And I've got 5 more. So, you know, there's people that went through the atypical, you know, even the British white experience at 1950s, you know what I mean? How women worked, all those generational things. So it just gets passed down in all ways, shapes or forms.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot.
Rachel, I'm so sorry we've come to the end.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, I could talk to you for days. Like,
Just means you're going to have me back.
part 2 coming up. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you, how do they get in touch?
So best way is via Instagram, which is at A Bridge to Tranquillity. I'm also A Bridge to Tranquillity on Facebook, TikTok and everything like that. And then my website is abridgetranquillity.com.
Thank you so much. You're the
Thank
best.
you.
And I will see you soon, God willing.
See you soon.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you.
Take
you.
care. Bye.